Yes, indeed. The sounds of Dream Evil chasing the dragon and Teres Batoni Tayavos Leo Tulta. No, I can't pronounce it to save my life. This is Yule Plz here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. I'm just staring at the size of this glass. It's like... I'm sure there's a term for it. A tankard. Yes, it's like a tankard. It's a large glass tankard. And I'm drinking vodka from it. And it's tasty. I'd like to thank the Swedes for producing Absolute Citron. And Royal Arcanist probably had nothing to do with it, but he is Swedish, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Right. It's competition time. Yes, it is. Now, I'm going to remind you what the prizes are, because they are most certainly epic. It's an epic giveaway. The prizes: a 90-day WoW game card, the Art of World of Warcraft book, anything from the Werecraft store, that's cafepress.com/Werecraft, go and have a look and see if there's anything there you would like. Any value t-shirt from the Werecraft store, any Werecraft-related underwear, any mousepad, or Blue Please the album. That's cafepress.com/Werecraft. Go and check it out. See if there's anything there you'd like. Have a look at our new black t-shirts and the new Ask the Murloc merchandise, which is selling very well, I can tell you that. People seem to like it. We'll be trying to get some more stuff like that up quite soon. So go and have a look and see what you can win. Okay, now, how can you win these fantastic prizes today? These epic Christmas presents from WoW Radio. It's really quite simple. Except it isn't. It's not as simple as you may think. Right, you can win those prizes by being creative. Yes, I'm afraid you're going to have to actually exercise your brains on this one, folks. It's no easy question. It's no WoW trivia. It's an open competition. It's an open category. And your aim is to impress me. I want you, using any means necessary, to create something that symbolizes a World of Warcraft Christmas. It might be a song, a picture, an animation, a story, a poem, or perhaps something else I can't even think of. But you have until the end of this show to create it. You must be creative, folks. You must impress me somehow. So it's a WoW Christmas, a World of Warcraft Christmas. Symbolize it with something. Something. Anything. Email themurloc@gmail.com. That's themurloc@gmail.com, which I'm sure will be posted in the channel in a moment. That's the email address. Themurloc, one word, no K at the end, @gmail.com. Email your creative genius over there. And it will be announced at the end of the show. So you've got an hour and a half, just under. Go and do it. Those listening to the archive, tough. You don't get it. It's a live show, folks. Only live listeners get a shot at this. Fat Loots. And speaking of Fat Loots, I'm going to talk about Molten Core. And I also want to know, what do you guys think of Molten Core? There's a couple of ways of looking at this. The original, not so much the original, if you count Onyxia, but the staple endgame raiding instance. Molten Core, fat epics. Is it any good? Let's look at the facts. Molten Core is, oddly enough, set in a molten core. There's a lot of lava and fire and rocks in it. That is the basics of Molten Core. It's a cave underground, apparently near the core of the world itself, in which dwells Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. He was old when the world was young, or so says Major Domo Executus. So, big fire elemental, particularly angry, doesn't like people visiting, has taken up residence in a big molten hole in the ground. Now, that sounds to me like your standard dungeon. Your sort of standard, big, dangerous dungeon. It always confused me in role-playing games about dungeons. I mean, why is it there? What is this dungeon doing here? Why is there just randomly a dungeon in the middle of nowhere? I thought dungeons were supposed to be at the bottom of castles, sort of little torture places. You keep people in a dungeon. You don't have a dungeon that's 5 miles wide and is covered in traps and chests and all that kind of thing. So there's this big molten hole in the ground in which a big bad elemental and his minions hang out, as it were. Why are they there? Why? What's the purpose of it? The purpose. What is Lucifer doing there? Why are all these fire elementals running up and down and up and down? Why are their core hounds just, wandering up and down endlessly? What do they eat more than anything? Why are they there? Why is Lucifer just hanging around doing nothing? Along with the rest of the bosses, in fact. Now, this Baron Geddon's getting a little bit of exercise, running backwards and forwards. But really, why are they there? That's something that has been bothering me a little bit about the instance itself. What is the purpose of these people being in that dungeon? Why? Why are they there? It seems to me like it's a dungeon that's not really alive. It's an instance that serves no real purpose. Take, for example, the Scarlet Monastery. It makes sense. It's there for a reason. Arcanus Doan is in the library. As he would be. You'd expect him to be there. Why are all the other people there? Because they are either guarding the instance or they're worshipping inside the monastery. They're there. Herod is in the arena, as you would expect the champion of the Scarlet Crusade to be. Take Scholomance as another example. Why is Scholomance there? It's a training ground for necromancers. There are students all over the place. And strange creatures. A very interesting looking instance. Looks like Harry Potter's School of Wizardry gone horribly, horribly wrong. That serves a purpose. Stratum was infested by the undead in Warcraft 3. Stratum was destroyed. Everyone in it was killed. It's now the home of the undead. And not only that, it's a piece of valuable territory guarding the necropolis of Naxxramas, which of course is a forthcoming raid instance. And they're undud. Oh, they're undud? That's not a word. They're undead. You can accept it being there. They are there for a reason. They're mindless. They wander around for no apparent reason. That's fine. But why, oh why, are there 9 of the most powerful beings in Azeroth hanging out in a cave under the ground, doing absolutely nothing? Sure, they're guarding the secrets of the Fire Lord. But really, it does seem a little bit pointless. It might have something to do with the fact that the scenery itself in Molten Core is dull. It's lava, rocks, and fire. That's it. That is all there is. Baron Geddon's room looks almost the same as everyone else's room. It's a big hole in the ground with lava and fire and rocks. Arcanus Doan is in the library. Magmadar is in a cave that looks identical to every other cave in there. Interesting. So what do the core hounds eat? Unfortunate adventurers, perhaps. What does Magmadar eat? If the core hounds are supposed to be there to eat the adventurers, surely less adventurers would get to Magmadar, yet he is a bigger dog, and as such would need to be fed with more adventurers than your average core hound. Why does Luciferin have gold? What's he going to spend it on? It's the same as the old argument. Why do Murlocs have gold? Where are their pockets? Where do they keep it? Where are they going to spend it? Because they're not actually allowed in any of the main towns anyway. It all contributes to the idea of a sort of fake RPG setting. It's there because it's supposed to be raided. It's supposed to be a place where you can go in and get loot and then leave. But did anyone actually think why it was there in the first place? There's a lot of things about this kind of setting that kind of bother me in a way. That you've got to suspend your disbelief. Why is it here? What is its purpose? Why are these people in there? It comes down to RPG syndrome. Role-playing games must have dungeons. They must have fat loots, they must have cash, big treasure chests, big dragons, and nasty things to kill. That's the essence of a role-playing game, folks. Dungeon crawling. Ever since the first role-playing games, that has been the reason behind it. Dungeon crawling. Slaying the big dragon. Save the girl. Get the fat loots. That's the reason for being there. Now, of course, Leto can always come up with something, because Leto's a lore geek. He knows everything about the Warcraft world, probably more than the people who actually created it do, because I'm sure he makes some of this stuff up. But he says the reason for Molten Core being there is they're trying to summon up an old god so that they can make a stronger connection between them and this world, thus allowing a true elemental fire invasion of Azeroth. Oh, yeah. Luciferin looks like he's really helping there. He's walking backwards and forwards. He's not doing any summoning. I mean, take, for example, Silithis. There's some summoning going on there as well. The Stone Callers. It actually looks like they're summoning stones out of the ground. Why? We don't know, but at least it looks like they're doing something. What's Baron Geddon doing? He's running backwards and forwards. Magma Dart is just sitting there. A very obedient dog, has to be said, but why is he there in the first place? He's there to be farmed. We want their fat loot. That's the reason it's there. But it has to be said, it does seem artificial in a way. Now, this is something that, to be honest, the older instances have been more guilty of than the new ones. There's a reason for Zul'Gurub. Zul'Gurub is probably one of the best examples of a setting for an instance. Why? Because it's there for a reason. When you go into Zul'Gurub, you see patrols, things wandering around. Hakar is at the Blood Altar, commanding his troops, his followers, his minions. You see the Blood Drinkers sparring. You see Jindo the Hexar dancing with his crazy undead sacrificial people. It's there for a reason. It seems like it's alive. They're there because Hakar won't let them leave. But at least they seem to be doing something. They have their own little rooms. Each area is tailored for them. It seems like they belong there, instead of being a big hole in the ground with a lot of random spawns in. Which is what Molten Core appears to be. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy Molten Core. It's a good encounter. The whole lot. It's got some good boss encounters in it, if a little bit samey. But it just seems to me that it's one of the worst set instances in the game. It's not that the boss encounters are weak, or the trash mobs aren't doing what they're supposed to do. It's just, it's a big hole in the ground with lava and stuff. And yet there's no real reason for them being there, or in fact for you being there, other than fat loots. Now I'm hoping this is something that will be dealt with in future, and it seems to be. The new style of instance design compared to the instances in the game when it was released seems like they've put a lot more effort into it as far as having a good setting goes. Something that belongs there. It's supposed to be there, and it's teeming with life. Admittedly, not particularly pleasant life. That's fine. It's cool. I like it. But Molten Core? A big melty hole in the ground. But at least it's got fat epics in it. Oh, yes. You're listening to Yule Plz here on WoW Radio. Special Christmas edition of Blue Please. Get your contest entries in to win fat loots today in our epic Christmas giveaway. Yes, I did say epic. Here's Cyrenia. This is Meridian. Enjoy.